Silva, and I am actually the head of IoT and industry segment marketing strategy for Schneider Electric, which gives me the pleasure of working very closely with our next keynote speaker, who actually heads up the technology and innovation efforts and the R&D activities of Schneider Electric, responsible for 11,000 R&D personnel around the globe, and supporting and driving innovation and technology across all of our businesses, from industry to energy infrastructure, IT data center buildings, and beyond. So I have the great pleasure of introducing our Executive Vice President and Chief Technology Officer, Mr. Prith Banerjee.
Thank you, Art, and a very, very good morning to all of you. It's been a long morning, and thank you for your attention. We have had some fantastic talks. So I'm going to follow up with continuing the agenda and talk about leading in the IoT space with innovation at every level from Schneider Electric. So let's start. So at Schneider Electric, we believe that energy is the base of life, and everything we do at Schneider Electric, in terms of the technologies, is about improving the way we live, work, and play. Specifically, our mantra is life is on, so that we make energy available to everywhere, every person at every moment. And the connected world, the IoT world, is essentially providing us a way to improve the way we make life is on for all our customers. So as we look at the three kind of mega trends that are impacting this whole area, it's about energization, it's about efficiency, energy efficiency, and connectivity. So the first thing about the world of energy, as we have more industrialization happening, more digitization happening, the energy consumption in the world is going to increase by about 40% by the year 2040. And the electric energy consumption will be twice that, will increase about 80%. So that's a lot of energy consumption that we all have to worry about. Now, simultaneously, we need to conserve our global warming. And so in the Paris Treaty in COP21, all the government agencies got together and said, we are going to control global warming, increasing in the global temperature by 2 degrees Celsius, and that requires us to be a lot more efficient. In fact, we have to be 3 times as efficient in order to control global warming. Now, the good thing is that when you look at different industries like the buildings industry, there is about 82% opportunity for improving the efficiency. When you look at the industrial world, there is 50% opportunity for improving the efficiency. So at Schneider Electric, we are committed to leveraging all these efficiency technologies to make a more sort of a safer world. Finally, the world of connectivity. As you have heard many, many times in today's presentation, we'll have more than 50 billion connected devices. So this is the world we live in. The world and Schneider will make our life safe, reliable, efficient, sustainable, and connected. So as we look at how IoT is going to impact this world, again, so the world of mobility and analytics is going to come together in the world of sort of this IT-OT convergence that we have heard a couple of times from speakers in the morning today. So this is the convergence that we are driving towards. And as we see this, it's about energy optimization, process optimization, and essentially allowing us to take this world of 40% more energy consumption and making it 3 times more efficient through the world of IoT. So as we see this, just to kind of present to you, not many of you may know, all of you may know about Schneider Electric. We are a 27 billion euro company with about 160,000 employees. My personal responsibility, as Art mentioned, as CTO of the company, is to manage the 1.3 billion euro on investment, R&D investment across the 4 businesses that we have around buildings, around industry, utilities, and data centers. So what's new in the world of IoT? As we look at the different technologies that have essentially helped us, and John, in the last presentation from Dell, showed the different platforms and so on. I'm going to kind of recap those similar themes. First thing is the world of mobility. All of us have cell phones, and I'm seeing many of you taking pictures of cell phones and so on. So we're all mobile with smartphones and tablets and so on and so forth. But as these smartphones and tablets go inside a building or an industry, it allows that building or industry to interact with the consumer to provide much better experiences. Second thing is the cloud. What cloud allows you to do is to aggregate data. Data from a building gets uploaded to the cloud, and now all of a sudden the utility, the facility manager, the end user, all of them can work together. Electrician, the contractors, and so on can all work together on a much improved energy efficient building. That is the future. Then we kind of looked up the area of pervasive sensing. Essentially, with today's technology, the cost of sensors has gone down. It's possible to have embedded sensors and off-the-shelf sensors to be connected to the different machines that we see. In fact, Mark, in his presentation from GE, talked about the 500 billion sensors that we'll see. So sensing is a very, very big deal. Next is analytics. With all this, the sensors that you have in these 50 billion connected devices, 500 billion connected devices that you heard from Industry 4.0, it will generate a lot of data. Now, if you do not analyze the data, the historical data with the real-time sensing data, actually that's not much use. That data is just big data. But if you can take that big data into analytics, that's where the real action is. Finally, again, you have all heard what happened last Friday about DIN and how without security, all these connected devices that we have can become major, major problems and create denial of service attacks. So this is the world that we live today: mobility, cloud, sensing, analytics, and security enabled by IP networking. So towards that, I'm proud to announce our new EcoStruxure technology, architecture, and platform. What is it? It is essentially an IoT-enabled, open, connected architecture. It has 3 capabilities. The first one is a leading technology stack. I mean, essentially, you have heard many, many presentations today. All of them basically, they're based on the Lambda architecture. They all have the real-time abilities, the sort of the NoSQL kind of capabilities, et cetera, et cetera. So our EcoStruxure essentially is based on that same industry-leading technology stack. Second thing, very, very important, is we have tested and validated it across various reference architectures in different domains that I will mention, the domains of buildings, data centers, industry, and grid. And so we have tested, validated reference architectures in each of those domains. That's the second thing. And the third thing is a platform that allows us to scale for tremendous amounts of data, large numbers of sensors in a cyber secure manner. So it is the technology stack, the platform, and the reference architectures. So as we share this vision of EcoStruxure with you, we kind of talk about innovation at 3 levels. And what are the levels? At the bottom level is the level of connected products. Now at Schneider Electric, when you kind of look at the world of Internet of Things, it starts with things. We make one of the best things in the world in the industries we serve. So for example, when we are looking at a smart building, smart data center, smart operations, industries, or smart utilities, it all starts with things. So connected products like circuit breakers, PLCs, drives, DCS systems, and so on. So we start with these products, and with the world of IoT, all of these products will be connected products. That's the first level. Second level is edge control, and a very, very important thing to think about. In the world of IoT, people think, oh, I'll just have products connected to the internet, right, through the cloud, like a Fitbit. Well, in our world, edge control for mission-critical applications is extremely important. Our customers will not tolerate a system not being connected. So when the system is not connected for a variety of reasons, either your 3G, 4G wireless goes away, your Wi-Fi disappears, your system still needs to work in the mission critical application. That's the world we live in the world of smart buildings, industries, grids, utility, and so on. And so that's the level of edge control. The third thing is the level, the topmost layer, apps, analytics, and software. It's on the cloud, on-prem or on the cloud, but that's that layer that ties it all together. So it's the three layers of innovation: connected products, edge, and analytics. And then we apply it to the four segments, the segments of buildings to enable us to have smart buildings, data centers to allow us to have smart data centers, industry, and the grid. And on the vertical side, you see this can be done on-prem or on the cloud, and it's cyber secure. We pride ourselves in the cyber security we bring to our customers. So as we look at this EcoStruxure, I want to kind of talk about a couple of three technical capabilities in our EcoStruxure platform. So those are the three things that are shown on the slide, but let me go a little bit in detail into and specifically talk about these technology capabilities. The first one is the technologies around the core embedded connected connectivity and intelligence. And this is basically, again, from the Dell presentation you saw the question of the edge and the core and so on. This is that core technology, what is called the device intelligence platform. It's that embedded connectivity. So all the sensors will have a gateway to it. You will do some computing at the edge. This will allow us to do sort of smart sensing, edge computing, IP networking, edge analytics. Will allow you to do the device configuration and so on. A bunch of technologies that are provided at that level. And the way we provide this to the four different businesses that Schneider is, we provide these as Lego building blocks. So the businesses can focus on the business of the PLC or the transform or the ring annuity, and we will provide them as part of this overall stack, the core edge computing analytics. The second level is an interoperable foundation for smart operations. We have a world famous a technology called Wonderware, which is a systems platform for allowing our customers to do smart operations. Is the technology that allows you to do control, management, optimization, automation, and essentially allows you in a hardware agnostic way to do automation and control. And the third thing is on the cloud, how you can take all these technologies and lift it up to the cloud. This is enabled by Microsoft Azure. It's the digital services that are being leveraged off to provide our customers with a set of digital services, which I will now highlight. So three capabilities: the edge, embedded connectivity and intelligence, and we do some of the machine learning at the edge, and we do some of the machine learning on the cloud, and then we have in the middle, smart operations. So across these three capabilities, we have sort of a range of activities that are kind of common. It's the ability to connect from shop floor to the top floor, the ability to collect data. So once you connect, you collect data, then you analyze the data in real time, and then ultimately you close the loop. That's the whole power of IoT-enabled automation. So you have to take action. So as you look at this, the EcoStruxure platform, again, you heard this many times today, it's about partnership. We do not do it alone. So the slide talks about several partnerships, but let me highlight three that we are very excited about. In fact, we are having a press release go out today that acknowledges these partnerships. First one is Microsoft. We have a very strong partnership with Microsoft Azure. Our entire EcoStruxure cloud platform runs on Microsoft Azure. We use all the capabilities, Cortana Analytics, and we have used it, for example, in our Connect Advisor, one of our smart solar power plants. Second one that I want to talk about is Accenture. We have partnered with Accenture in terms of different digital services. I'll highlight a few of them later on in my presentation about asset performance management as a service, facility insights, and so on. Great collaboration with our systems integration partner, Accenture. And third one is Intel. As we look at these edge analytics, we look to Intel to have partnerships at the core processors as well as FPGAs. In fact, in our testbed booth, we show some of our joint work with Intel on using FPGAs. Of course, in addition, we have got partnerships with Salesforce, with HP and Dell on the edge servers and so on, and things sort of organizations like IIC and Sigfox and LoRa and so on. So, but those are the three that I wanted to kind of highlight today. Now let's talk about, so this is EcoStruxure is an IoT-enabled, open, connected reference architecture and platform. But the real power of it is applying that to these 4 verticals. This is where the real power is. The 4 verticals that Schneider plays in is the world of buildings, and so we have a completely vertically integrated stack for buildings. We have a vertically integrated stack for data centers. We have a vertically integrated stack for industries, both discrete and process industries, and for the grid. So when we talk about the platform, it's the EcoStruxure.io platform that are in each of these 4 industry verticals. And this is really the power of Schneider Electric, the breadth and depth of the different verticals that we work in. So specifically, what I'm going to talk about is how we use how we work with different developers across this EcoStruxure.io platform in the 4 verticals. So I talked about EcoStruxure in the buildings area. In the buildings area, we work with, co-innovate with many of our customers like Hilton and Sanofi and Deloitte. In the area of data centers, we work, co-innovate with customers such as Sky and Switch and Digital Realty and Capgemini. In the area of industries, we co-innovate with customers such as Black & Veatch and PepsiCo and Nestle. And in the area of grid, we work with the large utilities like NL and Duke Energy. So the power of our ecosystem is this ecosystem of the platform that is available not at the horizontal level, but at that vertical level, right? By building. So we provide APIs to all these 8,000 systems integrators and partners and developers that we have in each of these domains. So the real value of IoT is not about the connectivity, but the value it provides. And I'm not going to go through all of these 4 things. It's about providing maximum energy efficiency and sustainability. It's about asset performance management, about smart productive operations, and mobile insight. So rather than talking about it in generics, let me give you some examples in the 4 verticals that we kind of mentioned. So the first vertical is our buildings vertical. So EcoStruxure applied to buildings. And within that, let me focus on a particular type of critical infrastructure building, that of hospitals. Now, in a hospital, you have to maintain power in a very secure manner because there is this surgery place, the operating room, the child care center. You cannot afford to have power go down in any of these particular critical infrastructure buildings. So in that buildings domain, what do we have, right? So rather than go through the entire picture, I'm sorry. Last slide, please. Previous slide. Previous slide. Oops. Previous. Yes. Oops. Sorry. Next one. Yes. So within the buildings area, applied to hospitals, so we have these 3 layers of the stack: connected products, edge control, and apps analytics. I just want to highlight one of the levels, the edge, the connected products level. In the area of electrical distribution, in the critical buildings like hospitals, right? This year we have announced the Master Pact MTZ, a super duper air circuit breaker which is IoT connected, right? So it is a fantastic air circuit breaker, but in addition, it is IoT connected. So what it allows the operator to do is to remotely, with a smartphone, control the breaker and essentially allow that the operation of the breaker to be a lot more safe, because these things are tremendously high voltage, high current situations, and the wrong thing can actually hurt or kill an operator. So what IoT-enabled air circuit breaker has allowed is worker safety, much better efficiency, and essentially remote maintenance of these facilities. And then we integrate this Master Pact circuit breaker inside a smart panel. It allows the end user, the hospital, to deliver secure power to the children, the operating theater, the surgery rooms, and so on and so forth. So that's applied, EcoStruxure applied to buildings only at that connected products level. Let's go to the next application domain, that of utilities and grids, right? So now we are going to move from the low voltage products to medium voltage, right? Sort of 36,000 volts and so on. And so as we look at innovation at the grid level, we are going to look at an integrated thing at 3 levels: connected products, edge control, and apps analytics, all integrated for our customers who are essentially distribution utilities. These are utilities like Enel or Duke Energy or Menelco and so on. And what we have been able to do through IoT is, as these utilities are moving towards distributed energy sources, renewable energy and so on and so forth, with IoT, we allow us to connect sort of the substations to the grid, to the smart grid and so on, and allow our distribution utilities to reduce operational costs. For example, Enel, we are through our ADMS system, our Advanced Distributed Monitoring System, we're able to reduce energy losses by about 4% per year, resulting in cost reduction by 5.7 million euro per year. We are able to help Meralco with respect to outage management reductions, with Dong Energy with respect to grid efficiency. So essentially, this is IoT technologies at all levels, connected products through technologies like eSerG P5, edge analytic, edge control using our passive system, and analytics on the top, the ADMS system. So innovation at all levels applied to the grid. An example, a specific example of this is the thing that we're going to talk about in terms of the collaboration with Microsoft. In fact, this particular example was highlighted in the Microsoft Summit, was the work that we do in IoT-enabled solar power plant. This is a gigantic solar power plant, right? All IoT-enabled, and it's possible to remotely control this, right? The amount of energy you're generating, the financial ROI, et cetera, everything can be remotely controlled through IoT. And then we look at not only this thing on the large power plants, but also for example, in Nigeria, we look at small schools, 170 junior schools, high schools in Los Gatos, and as well as some, I think, 11 primary healthcare hospitals, all using solar power plants, distributed energy, essentially to enable people to have access to energy. That is no longer a dream. It is a reality happening through IoT technology. Next example, applying EcoStruxure to industry. This is process industry and discrete industry. Now, in this domain, what happens is typically you have these large machines, and you have operators that go there, and these machines have been installed for 5, 10, 20, 30 years. So sometimes these machines don't even have the manuals with them and so on. So it's God knows what's in there. So operators go in there and try to fix it, repair it. So what we have been able to do is, with augmented reality, with geosensing and automatic shape recognition and so on and so forth, by the right tagging, it is possible for this operator to go in, overlay this, going with a smart tablet. I'm sorry, go back please. Forward. So this smart tablet, we just show it on top of the machine, and basically you see what's behind the system, right? These are real-time data analytics being shown up on this machine, right, using augmented reality. The right-hand side is saying that essentially here is an operator in a normal system would have to take apart the system, and the potential for shocks and injuries can happen. But now with the use of a digital technologies, you see this overlay through augmented reality, and the safety of the operator is greatly enhanced. So that's a great example of industrial innovation at the app level, the third level. Then we apply our IoT technology to sort of integrate across smart cities. And in that case, we are going to show an example of the Carson City, Nevada, where these operators have been enabled to use Wonderware Smart Glance technology, same augmented reality mobility technology, to essentially control the water, the wastewater, the energy utilities, and so on. So essentially, all the operators have situational awareness using IoT technology. So this is, again, IoT technology innovations at every level applied to smart cities. Finally, let me end my talk by highlighting how IoT technologies are revolutionizing the area of services. Services innovation actually is the most exciting and innovative area, and I'm going to highlight two areas, and this is some examples of collaboration that we are doing with Accenture. One is asset performance management, and the other is energy management services. So I started my talk talking about EcoStruxure for buildings applied to a hospital. Look at this child sitting in a hospital, being trained by a nurse, right, being treated by a nurse. You cannot afford to have this particular room, the critical care center, and the power disappear, right? So what our asset performance management as a service does is looks at all the assets in a hospital, in electrical distribution network, and categorize it by different levels of priority, right? So if you're in an operating theater, a child care room, or whatever, and essentially making sure that each of the assets are being tracked very, very carefully. Not only that, not only are you knowing that whether that master packed MTZ circuit breaker is working or not, but it will, using predictive analytics, you can predict when this thing is about to fail, right, before it fails. So similar to the example that you heard from GE, being applied in the area of assets in our building space. So this is a very, very exciting area that we have. Second example that I want to talk about is energy performance management services. Essentially, what we have is the ability, using IoT, for operators to look at remotely all kinds of data. So you go into a building, or multiple buildings, or plants, manufacturing plants, industries, discrete industries, process industries, and cities. You can look at energy management metering devices, like from our power logic meters, building management systems, weather monitoring systems. So essentially, because we have all these automation systems in buildings, in plants and industries and so on, we have all the data. We upload all this data to the cloud, and now we have a resource advisor and an advisory capabilities and energy performance services, which allows our customers to say, hey, here is where I'm spending a lot of energy. Remember the data about the 82% untapped energy efficiency that we have? This energy performance services allows customers to improve their energy efficiency in buildings, in hospitals, in data centers, in industries, and so on and so forth, to have much better efficiency. So it's an advisory services, an example of energy performance services. So hopefully I've gone through a lot of materials. I've talked about IoT innovations at every level. So to remind you, it's about the levels of connected products, edge control, apps and analytics, but applying this across the 4 verticals. So we have a vertically oriented stack, but these are across these 4 verticals of buildings, data centers, industries, and utilities. Thank you very much for your attention. Life is on.